Look, there's going to be spoilers in this video, so if you don't want to hear anything, then click away immediately. But nevertheless, guys, I am True Racer, and this is the recap of the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona 2016.
Goes wide.
Babini's slowing down. Babini's slowing down.
He has.
There's drama. Fabio Babini in the 20th Lambo is slowing down. Rene Rast is going to go back to the lead. The two Corvettes are side by side and through.
Goes
Antonio Garcia. And he's
wide.
wide in turn one. Through back goes Ollie Gavin.
Whoa.
Changing positions on the penultimate lap.
The first thing I want to get into is Max Angelleli. As I am recording this is Sunday night. He says he's fine, but they're just going to keep him overnight as precautions at the hospital. He breathed in a lot of gas fumes or some exhaust fumes or something in his car, but he definitely was able to bring home a second place. So definitely congrats for that, and hopefully you can get well soon and you don't have any lasting problems. Because you're probably all dying to know, no, you did not win this shirt or one of my other shirts. Only the person that got the awards closest was Loose Cohesion. He guessed 2 of the 4 class winners. He guessed both the GTLM and the GTD class. So congrats to you, sir. But getting half correct is not going to win you a shirt. But nevertheless, I think at Sebring I'm going to loosen up the regulations for whatever contest we do then. So maybe we can have either a winner or somebody get a lot closer or something like that. But not until Sebring. Not until Sebring. One thing I was disappointed about in the race was the Ford GTs. That's one car that I really like. I just think it's one of the most beautiful cars that has come out. It's just really cool to me. Unfortunately, they didn't do very well in this race, but I guess it kind of goes with the territory. They're just starting out, so this is more or less an extended test session because you know they're going to break things and they're still kind of trying to find their way with the new car and stuff. So they definitely had a bunch of different problems come up, but hopefully they can null and void all of them and bring home a better result for the Sebring race. Overall, the race was incredibly awesome and I really enjoyed it. I missed about the first half of the race because I was at the track on Saturday. But when I got home, I watched a bunch of it, and I watched a bunch more when I got up in the morning, and it was a heck of a race. I really enjoyed it. The winners were, I guess you could say, the number 2 car took home the prototype win, the 85 for the prototype challenge. The number 4 Corvette for the GTLM, and then the Magnus Racing number 44, my favorite. I chose them to win. Won the GTD class. So definitely congrats to you guys. Was a hell of a race in the GTLM and the GTD classes. The GTLM especially, they had the closest finish of any Rolex 24-hour finish in history. There was 0.034 of a second, so 0.03 of a second between 1 and 2 after 24 hours of racing. That is incredible. That is very much incredible. And then it was just a really cool strategy race between the GTD class with the Magnus Racing leading in the end of the race, and then the Huracan, which one was it? I forget which one it was, but the one Lambo caught him up and passed him with about 10 minutes to go, and then they ended up running out of fuel, and Magnus Racing came home with the victory. So definitely glad to see that, but they barely made it on fumes as well. But it was definitely some good racing and hell of a race throughout. To get to some of the controversies, right? Some questions I want to pose to you guys is what happened with the prototype challenge car in turn 1. Okay, for those who don't know, it was sitting there in turn 1 for like a minute without a full course caution, and and what ended up happening, they threw the full course caution after the Delta Wing rear-ended it. Then they threw the full course caution. So it's hard to say. You know, in hindsight, they definitely should have thrown the full course caution like immediately or like shortly after they were sitting there. But you don't want to get over. You know, it's like if it happens, you know, a lot of times the cars will stall or cars will shut off, and you just got to more or less turn them back on. So you don't really need to throw a full course caution. But I think definitely in hindsight they obviously should have, but I think they were thinking he was just going to be able to start up and go again, but it's not what happened. It's definitely unfortunate for the Delta Wing because they were doing really good. They were actually leading and not leading because of an accident and not leading because of a pit strategy. They were leading on pace and on pace alone. So that was really cool to see with the Delta Wing. But yeah, let me know what you think. It's obviously in hindsight they should have thrown the full course caution earlier, but it's like you don't want to get too caution happy, which it almost seemed like they were later in the race because they were pulling a lot of cautions or full course cautions. But you always want to err on the side of safety, but you don't want to take away the entertainment value of the race. So it's hard. It's hard to it's a fine line. It's a fine line to balance there. For me, the highlight of the race was probably when they were ratchet strapping the WeatherTech Porsche's spoiler back on. Okay, the guy, this is like late in the race, right? I think it was like an hour and a half left in the race or whatever, so we'd already had like 22 hours in. The guy's bolts or something broke on the rear spoiler, and in the kink on the infield, he lost it and just cut all the grass all the way, like huge off track, right? And he came in, the rear spoiler was broken, and they literally just got ratchet straps out and tried to ratchet strap the spoiler back together. So it was a high quality Jimmy rig job, and then they ended up going back out, and he literally did the same thing, going off track, and they're probably doing at least 100 miles an hour through there in that kink, and he goes off track and literally goes almost the exact same spot he went before. Luckily, he didn't hit anybody. But he definitely pulled it right back in, and they tried to fix it altogether. But I never looked in to see if they ever got back out again. But I know they were trying to. But it's a big job to replace the mounting brackets for the spoiler. I remember they were saying that. But also I remember seeing it coming on the embankment. It was still ripping, but the spoiler was bent back so far that it looked like it was giving the rear of the car a lift. It was I don't know. It was funny, but it's like, to see Jimmy rig, a high-end sports car like that in a main series with ratchet straps to hold on the spoiler, I just thought it was, I don't know, I thought it was hilarious. But nevertheless, what was it? Are there any other instances like that in other race series that you guys have seen before where they've used just some really off-the-wall repair job or something? I mean, I know that you'll see that kind of stuff in some backyard racing, but it's not something I was expecting to see in the pinnacle of motorsports, more or less, but it put a smile on my face, and it was definitely led some good conversations. Yes. I want to end with a big thanks to IMSA and the whole race broadcast in general. They live streamed the entire thing for everybody on IMSA.com, right? And I didn't have to pay anything. There was minimal ads, and I could watch multiple different live streams, and it had live timing and scoring. Okay, that right there is how motorsports entertainment should be in the future, and I really hope other motorsports venues start picking up on that as well. But I think the money-hungry people of the other motorsports are going to think otherwise. But even if I had to pay for it, I would easily pay for that next time. But definitely a big thanks to IMSA for being there for the consumer and the people that want to watch your stuff. And hopefully that helps you guys grow a lot. And it was fully entertaining, and I greatly appreciate it. But nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and like this kind of stuff, then make sure to subscribe, because we're going to be putting out a lot more stuff like this with the new race season coming up. And, well, welcome. Anyway, guys, until next time, stay true and race on.